Hiya, hello, how are you doing? This is a recording that I've been wanting to bring to you for a while, and I've been waiting for the right moment to do it, because so much of what I do now is driven and directed by an inner compass and a timing that is nothing to do with me really, and more about divine timing and allowing and surrendering when I think something should land, how something should land, and being co-creation all of the time in every single moment of every single day with the universe, and remembering that the reason I'm even doing this work is to be of service. And it's not about my ego or my will. It's always about co-creation. It's always about listening to the timing, to the pings, to the inner guidance, and working with those in every moment of every day. And so this particular topic is about your future self, and is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while because of the significance of this work. It is probably one of the most fundamentally important parts of emotional healing that doesn't really get talked about much or enough. And if you've ever listened to any of the big and really important voices in trauma healing and recovery, you will have heard them talk about the impact of trauma on the body, the impact of trauma on the brain, how it all works, how we store the trauma in the body, how what we think and believe creates what we do and how we are. And they often talk about how it is a very fixed experience. This has happened to you. This has happened to you, and that's that. And you can work on it, you can heal it, you can clear it, you can certainly do stuff to make peace with what has happened to you. And those are all fundamentally, massively important things. Like Gabor Mate talks about self-compassion in his book, The Myth of Normal, which quite honestly is one of the most important parts of healing anything, to be able to find compassion for yourself. And then what happens then is you find compassion for the other. Compassion and boundaries together are two of the cornerstones of development and healing of any trauma, any wounding, any pain, any suffering. To be able to find compassion for yourself, for being human, for being you, for being here in this body, in this crazy, crazy time of life, as this moment of consciousness expansion when all of the pain and trauma is coming to the surface for everybody, where mental health is quite possibly at an all-time high for so many people. To find compassion and to create that for ourselves is key. So those things are absolutely important. But if you've ever sat with anybody who has an addiction, if you've ever sat with somebody who has OCD or panic attacks or looping thoughts or chronic anxiety or is simply just human, then you will know, probably from first-hand experience, that what we create is based on what we know to be true about ourselves in this moment. That means the thoughts, the beliefs, and the experiences that you have today are so familiar to you that that's what you create from. So it's almost like a blueprint, a map. The map that you've got today with all the thoughts, the feelings, the experiences are what you will then create tomorrow. That's just how it works. So if you imagine that you've got low self-esteem, then you've got a packet of thoughts and some behaviors that go with those thoughts that create an outcome. And when you keep thinking those thoughts and having those same behaviors over and over again, and they don't get upgraded, they become so familiar that they become automatic. And when something becomes automatic, you act on it instinctively, with reaction, without attention, without awareness. And what we want to do is bring attention to that mechanism. So what is it that we're thinking? What's running in your unconscious programming? What's going on for you? Because ultimately that's also affecting your abundance. So if you're trying to increase your financial abundance, you're trying to grow your business, you're trying to do something, expand something, create something, whatever you're holding as your running is, whatever is running in your unconscious programming is what is going to be guiding that ship, running the show. So we want to bring awareness to those wonky thoughts and patterns, sure, absolutely 100%, and bring those to the light. But the most important thing next is how do I create something new? If I'm always creating from the familiar known, how do I create something brand new and create a new pattern, a new behavior? And how do I compound that? Because you can't just do it once and expect it to land. That's not how it works. You have to do it every single day until it becomes so familiar that becomes your new familiar experience. And that's where the future self meditation comes in. So this particular meditation is a meditation that Ben and I created, I think almost 9 months ago. And it came from a necessity for me personally, because I recognized that whilst I was absolutely bossing my own personal journey in terms of awareness and emotional healing and clearing and all that kind of stuff, I was kind of lost as to where I was going or what I was going to do next and who I wanted to be next. And that piece was missing from my own experience. And I said to Ben, listen, this is what we need to do. I brought together the work of Gabor Mate and Joe Dispenza, and I married them together and said, okay, well, if we can create compassion as well as absolutely anchor in the future into the now moment, I know that everything changes from then. Absolutely everything changes. And what you're doing is that the beautiful thing about the Future Self meditation is that the brain does not know the difference between what we imagine and what is truth. So you can basically tell your brain pretty much anything, and if you repeat it enough, it will start to believe it. So for example, when you imagine there's a guy who's caught a fish, and it's a fish that fits in the size of his hand, but he goes back to the pub and he's sharing the story, and suddenly the fish is bigger and bigger and bigger until he's in the paper for having, I'm making this up obviously, but he's in the paper for having caught this biggest fish of all. And then he tells this story enough times, he'll start to believe it. He will start to believe that the fish he caught was actually a really big fish and not this tiny one that fitted in the palm of his hand. And that's how the brain works. That's how we can reprogram ourselves. So this future self meditation that I'm sharing with you now is 100% fundamentally important for you to reprogram and embody a new experience for yourself from your imagined state. And that means you can be whoever you want to be. You can be whoever you want to be. And if you imagine it enough, you will start to think the thoughts and have the behaviors and have the feelings, importantly, the feelings that go alongside this programming. And 9 months ago, Ben and I decided to put this to the test. And so we started, and we have done every single day since then, well, maybe a couple of times, 6:30 every morning, we do this meditation for 15 minutes. And in those 9 months, our whole lives have changed for the better. The self-doubt that I used to have that was crippling has dissipated. The belief in myself has increased. The connection that Ben and I have has expanded and become stronger. His goals and dreams that he's working on are coming to fruition. And because we are able to truly believe ourselves to be that person. And it's not a manipulation. It's like you are reaching out into the future, grabbing hold of your future self, holding hands and then drawing them into the now moment. So it's not like you're becoming somebody else, you're becoming the most you version of you that is the most limitless possible, and the closest to creating the dreams, the desires, the goals, the experiences that you want for yourself. This is profound. This is absolutely life-changing stuff. And I wanted to make sure that I had enough experience and first-hand application of this to be able to share it with you. And I've been sharing it with my clients to see how they deal with it and what it feels like for them. And the feedback is 100% positive. This is an uplifting way to start the day. It helps you create focus. It helps you create an intention. And the universe is co-creating with you in that moment. This is powerful stuff. And at the end of the meditation, it says, keep believing in yourself. And that's the feeling that I take into my day, to believe in myself, to reinforce that. And so when you listen to this and it becomes part of your daily routine every single morning, I want you to keep believing in your dreams, your goals, your desires, your expansion, what you want for yourself. Give yourself permission to go after that. To trust that there is no mistake while you're feeling the feelings that you've got inside. There are no mistakes here. So, my love, keep believing in yourself. I hope you enjoyed this meditation. Give me some feedback if it works for you. Share it with those that you love. Share it with people who you think would benefit from it. And when it starts to really create positive change in your life, please let me know. I would love to hear from it and from you. All right, take care. Lots of love.